impact or benefit?
It is something which boosts you, change your life from one position to another.
My name is Veronica Wanjiru Mbuthia. I am a Palethiram farmer. If I compare my life today and the past, I can say it was very miserable. We never had income because the plant that we were planting, they were not in the market. Others like maize could rot in the garden. After selling the maize, you could work the whole year. The profit that you are getting, it will be very minimal. Eating was a problem, so we couldn't eat a balanced diet, feed the children well. We couldn't pay school fees for the children, so the husband could go far away to look for work.
My name is Charles Kinyanjui Kimani. Veronica Wanjiru, she is my wife. This place is too dry. We only depend on rain. That is not really coming.
After when Kentegra came in the year 2017, they educate us, they give us training, and now I become a fully farmer for Palethiram. I have done a lot of projects which have really assisted me. I also employ women in my farm to weed the flowers because women are flexible. They pick the right flower, the matured one. They also pick faster. After the Kentegra came to our area, we got a lot of benefit because one, they gave us seedlings, which we planted and got some money. After picking the flowers, we sell to the company. They pay us in a fair way. I have managed to harvest water far away from, it is about 1 kilometer. Steam water, I have harvested from far away there. It is also the product from Kentegra. And I also make some money from it. Shake the mango tree. Shake the mango tree. After Palethiram came to our area, I joined a college where I studied as a teacher. I'm a trained teacher. Also, I have a business where after work, I went there, sell them vegetables, fruits. Feeding my family, going to school, all this one I was helped by the Palethiram.
I usually pay school fees in time. I give them better education. Finally, I'm expecting them to get a nice job and stop depending on me. And maybe they will have a better future than I am.
Also, we have a BHC, which after paying school fees, you save the rest. The money that I'm saving there in the BHC have also assisted me to purchase some goats. I have about 8 goats. I have a lot of impact to the community. I usually empower the women because the money I pay them, they will use it at home, paying school fees.
My dream is to get my own land so that I can exercise this farming on my own land.
I have a dream. I will continue planting more flowers and increasing the land. I'm planning to build a permanent house, which I will live there comfortably with my family.
I think you guys can get a feel that I actually don't need to say anything. I can probably sit back down. Veronica kind of steals the show, which is the intentionality of what we do. All right, so let's kick this off. You ready? So, mambo. Okay, there we go. So, I have a tendency to talk very quickly. So, if you need me to slow down, just let me know. We're going to go through a lot of information really quick because I just want to regurgitate as much as I can and learnings from running a business in Africa, right? So maybe let's start with a little audience participation. Has anybody started a business in a frontier market before? Can you raise your hand? So I've got 1 hand, 2 hands, 3 hands. So go talk to those people and ask them how easy that was, okay? I want to highlight the latest studies that we see is 1 in 2 people will get cancer in their lifetimes, okay? Not trying to be morbid. At the same time, there's something in the toxicity of the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food that we eat. When we were children, nobody was dying of cancer. Now people are dying of cancer all the time. Kentegra would like to help solve a piece of that problem number 1, okay? Let's go to problem number 2. Problem number 2 is 44% of Kenyans live in poverty, okay? Ready for this? 30% of the GDP is in agriculture, okay? 60% of youth outside of Nairobi are unemployed. 70% of the 56 million people in Kenya are actually in agriculture. So an idea is, can we infuse kingdom-based principles through value addition, reverse trade imbalance, export out a value addition crop, bring in hard currency, build skilled leadership, right? And then do it kingdom infused to get people out of poverty. That's the idea, okay? So that's why agriculture, and I really appreciate Bo in Uganda, is trying to do the same thing. This isn't an easy nut to crack. It takes time. All right, let's talk about this crazy little flower on the screen. This is called pyrethrum, another audience participation. We got to teach you how to say it. Say pie, like apple pie. Reth, R-E-T-H. Reth, rum, like what we shouldn't drink here. Okay, so let's say it together. Pyrethrum. Okay, just so you know, it took Brian 6 months to how to say that, right? Which is, sorry, my business partner. I have fun with him. He used to be here last year. So let's get into it. So this crazy flower, what we do is we have a smallholder outgrower model. We work with over 20,000 contracted farmers to grow this beautiful daisy-looking like flower. It's actually a chrysanthemum. We run it through a really complicated chemistry set to produce this active ingredient called pale refined extract, 50% weight by weight. That's just the international standard of what we do. We currently export to 6 continents. For some reason, Antarctica doesn't want pest management solutions. I'm not sure why. We can talk about that. You can teach me later, which is great. You guys know there's a really small company called Amazon here in the United States. They bought another really small company called Whole Foods. We see organic growing 17% year over year. That doubles every 4 years. So there might be a market here. This is sustainable. It's good for the earth. All right, I'm just going to get just a little emotional for a second. My dad has cancer. My mom has cancer. And my brother-in-law died of cancer 10 years ago, okay? So I've got like 3 extra gears on trying to support fighting this cancer solution. I'm not saying it's all due to synthetic insecticides, but there is something in that toxicity that we'd like to change. So if you haven't figured it out yet, this active ingredient is used in pest management solutions. So if you know S.E. Johnson's mosquito spray off, please don't record me here. The active ingredient in that is called DEET. It's actually cancerous to all of us. This is an organic, natural, alternative replacement that's just as effective. This is called an orphan crop. It's really hard to get your hands on because it's really rare. Does that make sense? So hey, here's an idea. If we could bulk this up, maybe we could sell it around. Maybe we minimize toxicity around the world, okay? That's great. As a company, we have about 300 full-time employees. We're partnered actually with 40,000 contracted farmers. We have active growing farmers. That's in the 20,000 number. We have some folks that have received planting materials. We're waiting to sell to us. And then we have people that are like, pick me. We'd love to participate with Kentegra that we're waiting to get and receive planting materials. We've got some backing from some company called Talenton, as you heard from John. We took $5 million actually from FinFund out of Helsinki. They're really good on the ENS side, which is environmental, social, and safety. They're really good about hygiene for the business. We also took $10 million US from the United States government, not Gypsum, DFC, for $10 million in debt for the business. And then we've got a couple grants. If you notice the date on this picture at the bottom, July of 23, we did a groundbreaking with our 3rd manufacturing line, and I'm going to show you a couple pictures on that. We won a grant. Not a grant, a grant. I just want to get that right, okay? Through UK Aid's Manufacturing Africa program. It's absolutely fantastic. We won 8 McKinsey analysts, if you guys know who that is, for a month, and they said, Dave, what do you want them to do? And I said, okay, we'd love to learn about the biopesticide market. Tell us about it. So if you take a look, the total addressable market in the pesticide space is about 135 billion worldwide. For us, the biopesticide is about 10 billion. Remember, it's growing 17% year over year. You see that? And if you notice, the markets where we currently want to sell into are in North America, Europe, Asia. So you heard David Sims yesterday gave us a little stolen thunder on Europe. We just had our PPP, which is plant protection, and ECHA, which is in the biocide space. So we actually have all 30%. We have a molecule for the next 10 years that we can sell in the home and garden space and in the crop protection space. Just so you know, that's a big win. If you could give a quick clap. Just so you know, that took about 4 years to get through those, okay? So just so you know, one of my jobs is how do you predict regulatory approval timing? And I would say as a leader, I have failed tremendously. I try to budget, they say a year, I'm gonna put 18, maybe 20 months in this thing, and then I'm off by a year. It's really hard, right? Don't forget, you have to keep buying flowers from farmers all the time. Don't run out of cash, right? So my Moco sister, we're having the same challenges, so I'm with you. We can commune on that one. North America, we have actually FDA approval to sell for flea tick lice shampoo. We're waiting on our EPA approval, another prayer request I'm gonna put in the bucket. So we submitted our application last year, so we're about 2 years deep on that one. We anticipate it maybe this upcoming quarter, maybe Q1, so we're trying to pray for that one to go through. So as we do, what the heck do we produce? All right, so we partner with smallholder farmers. We give them extension services, we give them planting materials, we give them agronomy support to optimize their growth. They produce the flowers. We have 160 buying areas across Kenya. Think of the logistics on that. And then we bring it to our factory in Naivasha. We run it through a hammer mill, grind it up, then we do an extraction process to produce this stuff called crude oleoresin. That's number 3. It's kind of like a sticky, gooey molasses stuff. And then from there, we do a refining process where we remove the waxes and greases from the product to then sell to active ingredient formulating companies all around the world. Does that make sense? Okay. Why are we in Kenya? We haven't even talked about that. You know, we live on the equator in Kenya, plus or minus 3 degrees of the equator. This flower blooms, the bush, every 2 weeks. So let's think about another crop that you're paying farmers every 2 weeks for. So now I've got a headache issue for farmers, wakulimas, because we live on the equator, they don't save. So think if you lived in Nordic, or if you lived here in Colorado, does it ever snow here? Things don't grow 24/7 here, right? So you have to store anticipation of the winter time. If you're Kenyan, we just grow. So an issue is when I take in money, I just spend money because all my materials are going to continue to grow. So you got to think about the mindset of that. We'll talk a little bit about financial stewardship through it. A farmer growing pyrethrum can make anywhere from 3 to 15 times more money growing this crop versus an alternative crop in the same land area. Let me say that again. A farmer growing pyrethrum makes anywhere from 3 to 15 times more money growing this crop versus an alternative crop in the same land area. So do you think recruiting farmers is a challenge for a business? No. First 6.5 years of the business, meeting some of those milestones that John mentioned, we had 0 aged inventory. That means everything we produce, right out the door. So do you think we have to market our product? This is crazy. So we've been really quiet. For the Kenyans in the room, chini amaji. So what we've done is basically not marketed well because the product was just turning over. Now you're running into regulatory challenges. You need approvals so you can then sell the product internationally. All right. So with that DFC funding and a bit from Series B, including our friends from Talenton, we purchased a 12-acre site in an area called Naivasha. This is in Nakuru County where 60 to 80% of the country's flowers are grown. And then in less than a year, if you can hang on for a second, we purchased the 12 acres. Just so you know, have you ever had an international frontier market 12-acre purchase? Think about the brain damage in that. Rezoned it to an export processing zone. We don't pay taxes, VAT, or duty for 10 years. Has anybody ever zoned anything in a frontier market? Okay, don't forget you got to build the buildings. You need an architect to design what it's going to look like. But wait a second, I've got to put in all the factory equipment to fit inside that building. But wait, nothing is made in Kenya. Oh, wait, I got to go find somebody to go actually put all those pieces together. Wait a second, now I got to import it into Kenya. Has anybody ever imported in a frontier market? Super easy. Then I've got to connect water, utilities, electrical. Wait, who's going to run this thing? Do I have to hire somebody? Wait, do I have to train somebody? You guys, in less than a year we did this. Just so you know, this is like something out of NASA. It's unbelievable, right? So I just want to let you know, I'm getting lots of gray hairs here. If I could give you advice, never build Africa's first pyrethrum hydrocarbon solvency extraction process in 3 decades in Africa during COVID. Right? It's painful, really hard, right? So you can't fly in installers. You don't get trainers. You got to figure out how everything works. You heard John say 10,001 ways a light bulb didn't work. Thomas Edison, we had to break the factory to figure out how to produce this PRE, this active ingredient. There's no Wikipedia page on this, right? So we hired some MIT scientists and someone who's been doing pyrethrum since 1968, so the doohickey with the whatchamacallit and the thingamajig to make it go, right, that kind of thing. Just so you know, I have no idea how to turn this thing on, just so we're clear, right? I'm not that smart. It is in the family. Brian's had the privilege and the honor to speak at this conference the last 2 prior years, so I got the long straw to come here this time, which has been a ton of fun. I just want to let you know, he's an incredible man, super humbled. He took a company from 200 million to 1.1 billion. My partner on the left, Michael Wataka, #1 industrial chemical engineer out of Moy University. These are all really important people to have on your team to help execute with excellence. Just a quick farmer testimonial. This lady's name is Maggie. She's widowed. She's got 6 kids. In Kenya, it's in an honor-shame culture. So the family tries to take care of the family to survive. So this woman was basically a receiver of the community to survive. After pyrethrum, she did a 24x growth. I don't know if you can see that there, 18 to 3/8 of an acre to 3 acres. And then you go from a community receiver to a community giver and a builder, right? If you haven't had a chance to jump on a Talenton trip, we would humbly appreciate you to come. We have this phrase called the tribal smell. So once you get on the ground and you look a farmer in the eyes and you see a 15x return, and what am I doing with that money and how does that change my life radically? It's really impressive. It's incredible to be a part of. And it's really hard to express it to a Westerner. The closest thing that I've come up with, and I'm not good with words, is maybe like a West Virginian sending their kid to Harvard. It's something like that. It's just so miraculous. It's amazing, right? Just so you know, I can say that. My middle name is Morgan, so I helped settle Morgantown, West Virginia back in the day. Don't laugh. Okay, let's get real. Why are we doing this? How do we do this with kingdom-infused principles? It's not easy, just so you know. We've tried to be really thoughtful here. Does anybody know Crown Financial? Anybody ever heard of them? Okay, if you made 15x, what do you do with your money? As guys in Kenya, we like to drink. Okay? As ladies, we like to take care of the family. It's like nesting. Take care of your shamba, your farm. Okay? You heard Veronica say they were faster pickers. Just, you know, even ergonomically, I can't touch my flowers, like my feet, but they can pick actually a lot quicker. We actually intentionally try to recruit female farmers because it optimizes the business and they can grow the fields better. I've also partnered with Foundations for Farming. Does anybody know who those guys are? Craig Deal? All right. So we do regenerative organic agriculture practices, farming God's way out of Zimbabwe. We sent 6 of our agronomists there to be trained. We then trained the rest of our team to execute. So we also infuse biblical-based agriculture and training with our farmers. I also wanted to highlight, if your innards aren't good, your outwards aren't going to be good, right? So we've done some root to food or biblical-based training just with our staff and our leadership team. So we all have a common syntax on values, right? So if I haven't mentioned, Kentegra stands for Kenyan integrity. I won't pay bribes. We won't do anything illegal. If you noticed my accent, I'm actually American. So we're under the FCPA, Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. If I pay a bribe, I wear orange. Let's not do that. Makes sense? Okay. So in leadership development training, I may talk about penal substitutional atonement, where my other Christian friend on my staff may talk about witchcraft. So now we've got to align, what does that mean to be Christian and how does that work? If you guys know Jahari's window, you want every aspect of your life to be about him. That includes work, home, family, right? Personal. So we've also set up Village Savings and Loans Association. Basically, smallholder farmers aren't bankable. They don't have access to credit. So how do you give farmers money so if they have a medical emergency, they can provide for their family? So we've created these small groups, maybe 15 to 25 farmers, where they do table banking to support having access to capital. The default rates on that have been absolutely fantastically low for the business. More to talk about on that. All right, you guys know it takes a village to make these things go, right? Talenton is a part of that village, a part of that family. At the same time, John on the bottom left, he built a $25 million steel manufacturing company out of the coast. Michael Wataka, top right, that's the industrial chemical engineer. Joffrey underneath him, head of field operations, we poached from Bayer. And then bottom right is Linda Capwell, who has B2B2C, banking, Unilever, head of innovations. We have a fantastic team. It's really fun to showcase them as you come. Always want to talk about your partners. You got to give thanks and credit where credit's due. The team here has been fantastic. So on behalf of Kentegra, I just want to say the Talenton team, we humbly appreciate your partnership and the opportunity to share a bit about what we're doing in Kenya. What do we want to do and where do we want to go? The demand for this product is super high. We'd love to optimize to get more growing areas. We'd love to vertically expand downstream, if you're familiar with the MBA speak, to do formulated products. Maybe Amazon down the line as we get FDA approval. Then we're also looking at other extraction techniques. If you know how to do a hydrocarbon solvency extraction process, why not do CO2 supercritical fractionating columns? Like, what are we doing, right? Other things grow really, really well in Africa, and especially in East Africa, and especially in Kenya on the equator. Let's just rinse, repeat what we're already doing with agronomy support, smallholder farmers, logistics, manufacturing, extraction, shipping, and exporting products, right? Makes sense. All right, let's land the plane. Whew, you get me emotional here. I'm called to be in Kenya to do what I do. So I don't know where you are in prophetic words, but I actually heard God speak to me. Just so you know, I've never had that happen before in my life, and you can't deny it. And just so you know, it's really scary. And he was like, Dave, you're moving to Kenya. And I was like, whew, let's be profitable, EBITDA positivity. Let's make sure we got a factory. Let's make sure we got staff. He's like, you're moving to Kenya. So you imagine, when God spoke to me, that was in Kenya. That was in 2019. And I called my wife that night in Kenya, time zone difference here in the US. I was like, hey, babe, God spoke to me. He asked us to move to Kenya. Very cool. Could you imagine how that goes, right? And she was like, Dave, if he's for it, let's go. She didn't even skip a heartbeat. It was amazing. Just so you know, I've got 4 daughters. If you can't see, they're 16, 14, 12, and 10. We are in the throes. I am silent during dinner. So this is really exciting to be here. Colossians 3:23, everybody knows this verse, right? We're working for God, not for man. Super important. But then number 3, just the love pillar. I think as you get to know us and our business, man, we just want to love on people for Jesus and make it go. Yet, you have to pursue excellence to show what's possible, to not be a part of the corruption scheme, to show that it's possible to do things with great integrity, to be wildly profitable, to shift cultural impact sustainably over time. This is Talenton. You guys, this is great. It's absolutely wonderful. I'm going to hit the buzzer here. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. We're looking for generational business. I want kids, grandkids, great-grandkids to make farming cool. Reverse the migration to Kibera. You heard, largest slum in Africa, 1.2 million people living in the size of Central Park. If we can get them out, make 3 to 15x, driving sustainable human flourishing. We did it. Asante sana means thank you very much in Kiswahili.